So I'm really, really excited to introduce you to Holy Trinity and whoever else will tune in to your awesome concert coming up. Um, Charlotte is the organist extraordinaire and also has a gorgeous voice, and I think you play other instruments too, right?
Kind of. I started on the violin, but it collects dust in the music
Mm.
room. So
Well, Charlotte, thank you so much for being with us. And we go back pretty far. I think we met at organ camp because we were such cool high school kids. Uh,
yep,
actually,
yep. It's
we were,
been like 17, maybe 17 years. So
wow.
yeah.
Yeah. And for those who were lucky enough to be in that virtual project, Charlotte is the mastermind behind helping me do all the things that I couldn't do, which were a lot of things. So I have many things to thank you for. So, but I will jump in and let you kind of go ahead and express, well, you can explain kind of how music has played a role in your life, just kind of in the ways that like led you to this point, and then part of why you chose the music that you chose. We can go into that second if you want.
Okay. So first of all, thank you so much, Lauren, for inviting me to be part of this series. I think it's wonderful that you've been able to provide this for your congregation. I live in Ohio, and I'm the organist and associate director of music at a church, First Congregational Church in Hudson, UCC, and I'm really fortunate to play on a really wonderful instrument. It's a tracker organ. It's a mechanical action organ made by Wilhelm, the builder who's based in Canada. And the organ is turning 30 this year in the fall. So we're gearing up to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the instrument. And I'm lucky enough to be at the helm every Sunday. And music has always been part of my life. I was fortunate to be born into a very musical family. There was music playing, music being played, performed all the time in my house. And from a very young age, my parents got me into music lessons. And I started, actually, like I said, I started on the violin. My parents made me choose one instrument, even though I wanted to do piano and violin. So I ended up teaching myself how to play the piano, and probably learned some bad techniques, but here we are. And I just couldn't get enough of music. I played the piano all the time, much to the chagrin of my parents. I avoided doing chores and all of those things. But I grew up in the church, seeing my mother sing in the choir, and therefore I also sang in the choir. And I ended up getting interested in the organ because of that. And I think when I was 13 or so, I started playing, and then got more serious in high school, and that led to going into music. So I studied organ in college, and it's stayed a big part of my life. I've always had lots of interests, and so I've studied other things, I've done other things, but music has been a constant throughout my life, and specifically working and serving in a church. So I'm really lucky again to currently serve in a wonderful congregation. This past Sunday marked 54 weeks of being in a only online setting. So I feel grateful that I've still been able to play and share music with our members. And
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Well, and I remember once, I think it was your dad that told me that you learned to sing or read music before you learned to like read books.
Maybe that's right. I don't know.
Very impressed
I don't
by that.
remember, but
I
yeah,
don't know how to,
it
yeah.
was, it was sort of a problem. I spent a long time at the piano, pretty much all throughout my my childhood.
That's wonderful.
So I got really good at sight reading. That's how I got really good at sight reading. It's just I was not patient to actually learn the music well. I just learned all the right notes and
Which
moved on. So
serves you for the rest of your life when you start getting church. So,
so
yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you're going to play for us.
so I'm grateful to be part of this series. I I'm excited. It was actually really quite a task to pick only about half an hour of music, because I feel like this is one of my favorite seasons in the church year, is the Lenten season, especially leading up to Holy Week, and starting with Palm Sunday, going in through Maundy Thursday and Good Friday, and ending with Easter. And I think for this concert, I wanted to highlight some of the pieces that mean a lot to me, not necessarily the pieces themselves, but maybe what they're based on. So I'm starting with a piece that actually I was inspired to learn this by none other than yourself. So I'm starting with the Passacaglia in D minor by Buxtehude, which my really extremely wonderfully talented and good friend Lauren played a very long time ago when we were in college together. And it was just really, it's a very meditative piece for me. And it starts low and soft, and then gradually gets bigger and more interesting and dramatic, and then ends back again a little bit softer. And so I'm starting with that. And then the rest of the program will be pieces based on hymn tunes that are fitting for the Lenten season, and specifically Holy Week. So the second piece is a setting of a German hymn tune by Georg Böhm. It's a set of variations. And then there's going to be actually three settings of O Sacred Head Sore Wounded, Herzlich tut mich verlangen. And so one by Bach, one by Bach, one by a modern one by Pamela Decker. Oops. And then the last is by Johannes Brahms. And then I'm going to end the program with a fairly recent composition of a setting of Were You There? Because this is one of my favorite hymns, both to sing, but also to hear in Holy Week. And so this is a recent piece. It's a new piece to me. So it'll be nice to be able to offer these to you.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. I cannot even tell you. This will just be such a treat. And thank you again for putting so much thought and time into all of this, and for being with us in spirit, and really enriching this, like you said, this really meaningful liturgical time. And I think it's been especially meaningful in certain ways this year. And one of the gifts, I mean, I think it was our Father Jonathan at our church said, he was saying it doesn't really feel like Lent because it feels like it was already Lent. Like we're
continuing Lent.
Yeah.
I know. I think I heard that interview that you had the first week with him that he did for you, and I think so too. I think it's been quite a year, especially for musicians. My husband is also a musician, and for me too, I feel like the organ for me has not been silent. I've been there every week, and we've been very fortunate. We were already live streaming before the pandemic. So we were actually really well set up, and we're a model for a lot of other churches. And yet, we have an empty sanctuary every week when we do our virtual service. We're doing some in person, but the main service is still all virtual. And again, like, I just feel fortunate. If it weren't for this pandemic, maybe we wouldn't have done so many collaborations between the two of us that we've been able to do this last year. And so that's one positive, is that I'm able to do this recital for you. And so I think it's been, an interesting year. And
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
so,
Well, again, thank you so much. And like you said, I mean, one of the highlights of this time has just been reconnecting. And yeah, and it just is, I feel very proud to be able to not only introduce you to people in my life all the way down here in Texas, but also to have you be a part of to bring us your music. So
thank
thank you so
you.
much, Charlotte.
You're welcome.